And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome! You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say. Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to Koi Plays Tarot. My name is Koi, and I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. What we're looking at in this writing read is going to be your career read for the month of October. Career read being, opportunities, ventures, things that we want to invest our time, our work, our efforts into, things like that. So as we look into, what is in it for, the things that we want to embark on, just keep in mind this. As a preamble to the reads, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse, right? At times, especially when, there's money on the line, there's other things that we want to do, it may be tempting to say, I don't want to hear that. This is not going to be conducive for my plans. And that's probably the moment that we got to sit with it, right? I, as your tarot card reader, would never purposely misguide you. That's not what I do. That's not how I roll. So follow along with me today, Aquarius, in your career read. And yeah, let's see what the cards say, because it has been interesting so far, at least for the other ones I've read. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Aquarius in their career read, month of October. We'll do first a time-space layout, so past, present, future, and then look at all the space in between. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Aquarius in their career read. So starting with your past orientation, Aquarius. Temperance, card Sagittarius. Okay. What did we require time and healing for? Lovers, the card of Gemini. And Eight of Cups. Okay, that makes sense. Because I'm like, what is this rejection method? Got it. The notion that not only did you have to start over, but you had to firmly walk away from a path that you felt was gonna be like a long time standing life goal or career path. That's pretty dead obvious. You had Temperance, the card of Sagittarius, suggesting that if there's nothing else in the universe, there's a knowledge that all things heal with time, right? And maybe this was a long time coming. Then pulling out the Lovers, the card of Gemini, hey, in a career read, what that means is I'm doing the things that feed me, right? And not just, the monetary, coin-based consumption of buying restaurant food, but really it feeds my soul, it feeds my purpose. I feel right here. And we have to wrap all that up more towards a healing method of Temperance, saying, and I gotta walk away. Now, what you're reasoning behind that, I'm not entirely sure, because again, we're saying we had to give something up. That's a very strong statement to start out with in your past. And that you eventually had to come to terms with that and heal over time with it. Almost like we had to temper our temper, right? So when we look at that, at least in your past orientation, Aquarius, it tells me that, you know what, I had to make a very almost begrudgingly having to force myself to walk away from this. And I think we're going to get into the present as to why. So, I mean, that's a very strong statement to start off, to kick it off with, Aquarius. Let's see where it goes. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, next, in the present orientation for Aquarius in this reading. What is held in present orientation for Aquarius in their career read? Down the middle. Okay. Six of Pentacles. Okay. Trying to invest more into the long term. We're putting ourselves every day into it. Three of Cups. Okay. What is this meeting about? Hierophant. Okay, not bad, not bad. I like that. The card of Taurus. So let's start from the top, and then you'll see why I'm smiling. The everyday investments that we're doing right now, so at least from the past where there was something that we had to abandon, Aquarius, now we're saying in our present, the here and now, I'm actually trying to find what's right for me, what I feel is my calling in terms of my work, in terms of what I do. And yes, it was a lovely situation of the past, but it's not simply just reuniting with that, right? It could easily just go back in that direction, but also finding the right purpose in doing so, right? So how do we invest and invest properly? I guess that's the bigger question you're trying to ask now. Because when you do reunite with some element of this, whatever you love back here that you had to walk away from, we're actually saying, no, it's here to stick. And I'm trying to make sure everything is in place to make that happen. Okay? I mean, that's very lovely energy because, again, you're finding your purpose, but also you're reuniting on better terms with it. Now, could this be, a person that could open up that door for you? Potentially. But it more so has to deal with, I want to make sure all of me is right before I go back to whatever this notion of my career and what I want to invest to it, what I originally made me walk away from it, that cannot make me walk away again, right? There's this steadfast determination that we are not going to repeat that mistake. And that's why the little investments every day is going to build up to a bigger outcome. So the future orientation for Aquarius in this read. Let's have the future orientation for Aquarius in this read today, please. Okay, Four of Wands, okay. So finding safety and comfort, but also good boundaries in a bond that is formed. Queen of Wands, being able to embrace openly. How so? The Nine of Pentacles, autonomy and freedom. And being that this is a career read, if this is more like an intimate partner or relationship type of read, Aquarius, then I would have said, let's examine why we're just running so loose right here. But in the future orientation, I'm looking at somebody who can look back and laugh, right? That doesn't mean that it's funny because whatever this parting thing was for you in this past orientation, yeah, you didn't like it. That's dead obvious, cool. I'm not going to argue with you on that one. But in the future, when I am seeing that Four of Wands and that Queen of Wands, being able to embrace this opportunity, not simply in the notion of, okay, I feel good here, this give me good vibes back, but actually being able to grow with that. Right? Actually being able to say, I am the best and right person for this job in the labor capacity, but also I'm the best and right version of me that wants to give to that. And therefore, finding you all over again with that Nine of Pentacles, saying, not only will this build me major coin, I could see that already. That's not, really the debate here. It's that what made me walk away before, I can look back and laugh because I understand why, right? I have my freedom now. I have my boundaries now. I know how to properly engage with this now instead of just being forced to walk away. And therefore, we eliminate the possibility of having to repeat that cycle again. So will we get there eventually? It's pretty much leaning towards a yes, right? You're putting every little piece in place in the present right now to make sure that doesn't happen again. What I would suggest is that in the future, again, you won't know until you get there, but when you get there, it will be the stark realization of, actually, I had to walk away at that point, right? Which is why I'm saying you're trying to provide this level of cheeky humor, Aquarius, so, being able to look back and say, yeah, I had to split from that when the time was right, and now I'm coming back to that and everything else I wanted to do even better. It happens that way for a reason, right? Underneath it all, the Nine of Cups, being able to emotionally express the self, particularly around your needs, what needs to be provided for you to make things function, at least in your career read, that has different context in an emotional relationship dynamic, Aquarius. But in this career read, we're saying, I want to be able to give of me in ways that are not just effective for the job that we have to do, but fulfilling to me and re-energizing in a way. And that's primarily what we're finding out right here. Because again, we don't want to repeat that Eight of Cups walking away from something that we wanted so long for. Okay, makes sense. Let's look at the spaces in between. Show us cards of connection, please. The bridging gap between time-based orientations and Aquarius's career read, month of October. What is held in the space in between? First, we look between the past and the present, from the what was to the what is, the here and now. Show the cards that we need to see, please, that bridges this gap. Ooh, that just flew out. Okay, I'll take those. Nice. Okay, I need to get one more. Show me one more. Oh, that's so nice. So first, Six of Wands and the Magician. Putting these two things together, Aquarius, we're having the notion of, actually, I'm going to manifest what's right for me, not just the notion of what is supposed to be the ideal career, the ideal partnership, whatever that means for you in your labor endeavors. It's not just about what looks good on paper. It's about total fulfillment. Eight of Swords. And the notion of powerlessness. Well, if I hard define myself so much by that limitation of this is what it has to look like, it's got to be this, it's got to be this, it's got to be this, then that ultimately led to the separation point in the first place. Right? Having that in your in-between space, the Eight of Swords, as I like to explain in many of the reads, is always represented by somebody trapped in an open air cage of swords. So can they climb out? Yeah, but will it hurt on the way? Also probably yeah. Point being is that we have to come to some hard realizations from that transitional period, Aquarius, where, okay, why did I have to leave something that was supposed to be so right for me? And the answer, very simple, is that, yeah, I wasn't approaching it from the right space, right? That Six of Wands, from going in that Eight of Cups, I'm mainly measuring off of here in the past orientation, Aquarius, going from that Eight of Cups, if we claim that we loved it so much and we had to heal so much from it, then yeah, it could be good work, right? You could work in a field where it gives back to humanity. You could be doing very lucrative work. It fills your coffers, let's say. You could be doing very innovative work. And it gives you the cutting edge technology or whatever your purpose is. All those things could be well and true depending on your situation, Aquarius. It doesn't change the fact that the way that you approached it, A, was not sustainable. And that explains what was going on back here. It was not sustainable. And B, you had to walk away, otherwise you might have been separated from it permanently. Okay, I understand that. And the reason I'm saying that is because that Six of Wands and the Magician, well, either we make time for our own self-care and our needs, or we will be forced to make time for that, right? And I'm getting, again, the heavy notion that somebody was kind of pushing themselves beyond their limits and they were reaching a breaking point. So maybe when we combine that Six of Wands with that Eight of Swords and then go into the Magician, that the lesson that we had to learn was actually already there. It was not in, the effectiveness of what we did at the job. That's not the issue or the debate. You already know what you want. You know that you love it. Cool. That's been established many times throughout this read already. I'm not going to argue on that one. But what I am saying is that what we find in purpose in the space between what was then, what we felt at the lost opportunity, and what is now is we have to, really have some hard truths with ourselves and say, what does that look like when we do it right? Right? Not just accomplishing the task and hurting ourselves in the process, but also accomplishing what we need to at a good, sustainable rate. Not worrying about, will this be admired or recognized? Not worrying about what is necessarily, the aftermath impression that others have of me in this scenario, but rather I need to remember how to put me first and knowing that I can accomplish these things without hurting myself in the process. Those are actually very doable things. Okay. And that explains this notion of the reunion and trying to find purpose all over again. The everyday little investments that we have into the self now pay out dividends, right? They now reveal the notion that, hey, I can come back to this in a better, more fashionable way, and I can do it right. I do not have to tear myself apart just to get what I want. Good. Between present and future, show us cards that we need to see, please, for Aquarius in this career reading. What rests between now and what could be. What are the cards that we need to see, please, for Aquarius in this career read? 4 Wands. Okay. And there we go. And I read that 4 of Wands being slightly different from your future. We'll get into that in a second. What couples with that 4 of Wands? 2 of Pentacles. Good, good, good. Now we're making things balance out. We're making things work. And Ace of Swords. That truth that we were coming to in the past over here, Aquarius, between your past and your present, we're now reapplying it and reasserting it properly. This is how we wield, especially because your home element is air, this is how we wield that sword properly. What we're seeing in this portion of the career read, Aquarius, you're actually being able to approach this with good boundaries. And that's why I'm reading that as, yes, we said that was in the future, but you're putting all this theory that you had of working at this breakneck pace, ruining yourself in the process. We're actually saying, no. I'm forcing myself. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. We're not going to press our luck this time. I'm going to do this at a trained pace, even if it's unfamiliar to me. We're going to make this work out. Right? But if I'm saying that I want to go back to what I claim that I love and do, then I gotta do it right this time. Let me do it right. I'm gonna have to change my patterns. I know I don't like to do that, but it's ultimately what is best for me. I don't want to burn out and end up in this, being forced to walk away position all over again. We're not gonna do that. Okay, I can appreciate that. I respect that. Underneath it all, 9 of Swords. Okay, so now in your in-between spaces, sorry about that. In the in-between spaces, Aquarius, we're trying to address what is actually getting at us. Because once we come to a truth, we also come to a challenge, right? If we're saying everything was perfect in the past, then the question is, if it worked, then why doesn't it work? The 9 of Swords there then recommending, hey, look at our anxieties about it. Why were we so willing to just break ourselves in two just to make this job or this opportunity work out? Why is that not sustainable? Should we try to address it again, right? Even our fears and even our nightmares have things to teach us, even if they're not fun to look at. And I very much believe in this read so far, Aquarius, we're looking at somebody who, yeah, they had to walk away from what they loved and what they wanted to do, but ultimately it wasn't their best interest, right? I'm not getting a notion of animosity necessarily. I'm looking at somebody who kind of worked themselves into the ground. And I don't want to see you burn out while doing the things that you love. Nobody should have to go through that experience. Okay. Let's define the major arcana strewn across the table. I'm looking very much at that Lovers because I am interested, right? What had you going back to this so much, and why do you feel it's such a fulfilling thing that it's worth trying again? So show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Aquarius in this read. Define deeper why the Lovers here for their career. Between them and a life's journey that chooses to go back, we start here. Because there's a reason you're trying to come back at this in a new angle, Aquarius. There really is. What that looks like, that is up to you. So starting with the Lovers, King of Swords. Okay, so good. And being that that is, one of the royal face cards, I'm going to assume that is you trying to represent yourself in the most efficient capacity possible. I know I'm right for this. I know this is my calling. I know this is what is best for me. Cool. We can understand when we try to apply ourselves to a lover's dynamic, especially in career, we can understand that, hey, ain't nobody going to get this done but me, right? That is well, true, and good. Not going to argue with you on that one. The thing is, while you also can be the right person for something, is it the right circumstance for you, right? Are you approaching it in the right manner? Because there is this very unwavering assertion from what I'm hearing from you right now, Aquarius, in this past of, no, I was that right person. I still am that right person. 9 of Pentacles. And again, that notion of autonomy and separation here in your past saying, okay, yeah, 2 things can be true at once. I could be the best person for this job. I could be the best person on my team for it, whatever that means, and still understand that I'm breaking here. I'm not giving myself the love, the care, the respect that I need. And trust me, it is a need. Next, the Hierophant. Devil, card of Capricorn. Okay. Interesting that, was essentially a spiritual guide and the devil comes out. I'm not drawing necessarily on Judeo-Christian versions of this interpretation, but right now, as you're trying to apply new practices before you get to that reunion, you're doing a lot of internal shuffling, Aquarius. I'm looking at someone who's saying, is this a spiritual calling, or am I just putting things off and falling back into old, easy patterns and practices? Right, that's something you're trying to actually analyze all your behavior around how you approach work right now. Is it just easy for me to say, no, I'm doing it for the right reason? Yeah, this is what healthy boundaries look like in theory, but in practice, man, I'm not going to listen to any of that. You're really forcing yourself to be still. And I can appreciate that because you understand the everyday investments to get to where you want to go will reap reward and benefit. Those things are all true at once. How you define that, however, and this is probably why I find a contingency plan here almost. Talking with the Hierophant and the Devil, both touching each other and occupying essentially the same space. Well, if it is good for you, why is it good? If it is bad for you, why is it bad? Right? Because that's why we force ourselves to sit and be still, especially in the here and now, whereas you've got a lot of time on your hands. We're looking at, okay, is this really conducive behavior for what I want to do, what I want to do, and where I want to go? Or am I trying to basically figure out a way to lie to myself? I don't see that. What I do see is, okay, if the devil is telling me the things I don't want to hear about myself, and the Hierophant is trying to guide me towards what my true purpose is, then maybe the answer lies somewhere in between. And that's why it's so hard to sit still, because it requires this massive level of analysis where you just want to get up and go. We want to get to the finish line. We don't want to run the race. Fair. I get why. But we can't always take, this is a calling, this is a sign, and then completely turn it into the negative because we're measuring ourselves by a past that we had to leave behind. That's not helpful. It's not gonna work out for you in that manner. But if we could take that and say, okay, here's how I am processing it, right? That devil sitting on my shoulder telling me, okay, no, this is all bad. This is only bad because otherwise you'd be there right now, right? If I could flip that, if I could try to understand, well, yeah, they still look like they're struggling at the job. Everybody's still texting me saying that they need me. Okay, cool. Now, what do I need to have in order to be needed for myself, to myself, right? That's different because we're taking that concept and we're inverting it to a 180. We're saying, yeah, it's revealing a lot of insecurities I had about my work labor capacity, what I'm efficient for, what I'm good at. Yeah, it's revealing these things I may not want to hear. And that is also the very things that is going to lead me back to where I wanted to be, but on much better terms. Right? It's not that you're giving into these impulses, Aquarius, is that you're actually trying to turn them all around. And I commend you for that. To the Magician. Lovers. Yes, I love this so much. Okay, and so for your career read, Aquarius, hey, what I want to do is eventually get back here, right? What you already called and what you were very straightforward about at the beginning of this read up until now, Aquarius, yeah, this is the right thing for me. I know it. I'm not going to move from that. Cool. That is your established truth, and I want to support you in that manner. But the Magician, the reason why you're going through all this journey, and eventually I said you will look back and laugh, is that, hey, where we're going right now, it ain't good. And I had to walk away. I needed my space so I could just do something right for once. Now that I'm coming back, okay, well, what does that look like? What does that mean to me? If I'm going to pursue this journey in a much better space and not burn out and not have to walk away, well, then what would need to be set in place for me to do that? We're doing all this, and it's not a form of regression, it's a form of transformation. Let's get let's get across here. So the Queen of Pentacles crossed by the Seven of Cups. Cool. Okay. Not only the notion of possibility and getting things right and making everything work to its optimal potential for you, Aquarius, but the notion that, yes, this opportunity will be there. Now, who will I be when I get there? Right? you're actually not really worried about whatever this career path that you want to go back to. That's already been settled in your heart. You're not moving on that one. And I'm not going to try to. That's been well established already. But rather, I can approach this from a broken space, do none of the healing work and none of the work around self care and burnout, or whatever got me away, pushed me away from this in the first place. And I could just walk back in, repeat the cycle, and then have to leave again. Or I could do something different, try to put me first, try to set good boundaries, even within myself, which is very hard right now because I just want to dive right back into it. And that's not helpful. So, how do we do this? And how do I center me in the process of what I do? Resolution, real card of resolution for Aquarius in this reading. What is held in space resolution for Aquarius in the read today? Okay. I like that. I like that. Emperor, the card of Aries. So the ability to make a decision and stand on it. We aren't budging. Anything else? The real resolution for Aquarius in this reading? Okay. Let's shuffle. Show us cards we need to see, please, for Aquarius in this career read. What is resolution? What does this mean at this point? King of Wands. Okay. So the King of Wands is essentially sitting right very close to the Emperor in terms of the Court of Fire. If I am going to pursue this all over again, then I have to do it right. I have to do it better. I have to do it in a more expansive and honestly productive manner, right? Ultimately, Aquarius, you're not trying to run away from this. In fact, you're setting up everything that you need to do to go back here. But the challenge that you're having for yourself right now is my resolution is to make sure that I'm right. Not just the most optimal, hey, he's our go-to guy, he's our go-getter on this team. Cool. Get that, understand that, not trying to judge you on that one. But how do I get me right in that process so I don't ever have to leave it all over again? Underneath it all, Six of Wands, the notion of effort recognized. And here, once we don't run away from our nightmares, once we take that headstrong approach and run straight through that storm, and we address all the issues, we don't try to delay it anymore, we don't have to sit there for too long. All in all, in your read today, Aquarius, I like this, I really do, because you didn't give up on your dream. First and foremost, I want to commend you for that. You never gave up. In fact, unwaveringly, you're saying, no, I know that I'm the right person for this. I know how to do this job well. In that in-between space, however, the journey that you're on right now is to get yourself right so that when you come back here, it's same position, new you. Same position, new you. And how do I show my emotional effectiveness? How do I address these anxiety and fears? How do I know that I'm doing it right? You'll know when you get it right because you'll be able to, A, go back to exactly what you said you love doing. Cool, we get that. You get the job or whatever opportunity again. But it's on much better terms where we tell ourselves, I'm going to be okay. Now I want the me who was in that seat again to operate from a much better space. Same position, new me. So that's what I see in your read today, Aquarius. I hope this conversation helped. And yeah, you're going to get it right. Just take it one little piece at a time. And when you're ready, you'll know. Take care, okay? See ya.